Coley here. You should subscribe to my channel because otherwise real ones don't get famous and only people who do this kind of dumb shit do, you know?
I don't know shit. I don't know shit.
What's up, y'all? Coley here, new Revelutionary. Take a deep breath with me, if you want. The thing I try to do with these is not just speak to you like a news broadcaster. Doesn't that feel fake, right? Or like people who have customer service tone when they're selling you something. Or a politician at debates just feels like lies in your gut. It's really hard to be speaking authentic truth like you would to a friend in a garden, or by yourself with a mentor or loved one or something, and then put it into content. So I try to do my best with that, although that's probably why no one's showing up and listening. All good. I'd rather it be true. This podcast is an informational, deep one, so that's why I'm taking some extra breaths here. This one is a Coley tutorial on how to cure long-haul COVID. I'm getting towards the tail end, I'd say 90% better, of a 3 or 4 year journey that was god-awful. Close calls, touch and go for a while, not pleasant the rest, and always excessively painful on both myself and my loved ones. And now that I'm approaching full health, I want to share it. And the inspiration for this, of course, is my ma. I was just talking to her, and we've gone on a healing journey together. And she said, you got to document this for other people so that they can use it. You got a lot of data, and you did so much work to cure it. Share it and turn it into a positive. She's right, like she always is. And I think we all as a society need to heal from the pandemic too, from a macro perspective. We got to integrate what we all just went through. We're missing the point. We're all fighting over politics and really ideas that don't matter as much as us all being healthy and happy and productive and in harmony. I mean, that's the most important thing. And we all have amnesia, as if we didn't just go through like a really epic dark period. And we're blaming things on different things and all that, and there's not enough talk about how a lot of it's because of COVID, like COVID itself, like not even just the pandemic or COVID era, like COVID. It inflames your brain, it inflames your body. A lot more people got COVID than who even realize, and a lot more people have long-haul COVID than who even realize. It is a massively inflammatory illness that drives your brain crazy and is probably contributing to some of the societal ills we have. And we don't even talk about it like it didn't even happen, and that's part of it too. It kind of causes this brain fog that's like dementia. In other podcasts I'll talk about the geopolitical implications of that and stuff, but today's just about healing. So just to give you a little background, in March of 2020 I flew to Queens, New York from California to get home to my house outside Philly and talk for the pandemic, because I was in California when there was only 30 some cases in February, and both of those areas are ground zero, and that was the flight I could get. And at the time I was dating a Chinese girl who worked at a doctor's office in Queens, which is just not the best timing for that. And Valentine's Day, and you get romantic and things, and you know, sometimes life throws you a curveball. So I fly back into there to then go down to Philly and catch the OG COVID before we knew anything about it, before we even knew what it was exactly or where it was. And so, and then the world flipped in March, and I'm shaking in bed with OG COVID as we're all figuring out what's going on. The doctors don't even know. They're you know, putting people on respirators, and people are dying, and really crazy time. And there's riots outside in the streets, and you know, you're hearing gunshots and ambulances and fire trucks all the time. And I'm shaking in bed with this foreign pandemic illness that nobody knows anything about. And now we've all kind of, you know, processed it and like come to terms with it, and like now people even act like it wasn't a big deal. Oh, thank God I don't have to just make sourdough every day. Or, oh my God, yeah, I'm not wearing a mask in Walmart, I'm a real American. It's like, whoa, dude, like 1 million people died. That's 2.5 times World War II. How many American troops died? 2.5 times that. It was a big fucking deal. And so I'm shaking in bed, double pneumonia, passed a blood clot down my left leg, possibly left side of my body. Was hospitalized overnight, put on Wayfaring. Got these kind of weird focal seizures. Like, I'd never gotten seizures in my life, and it's not like a mall seizure, but like you're like twitching a lot. My legs are flapping like Flipper, and my whole body would shake like 30 uncontrollable flaps, but I'm conscious for it. So I'm like, what the fuck's going on, you know? And my whole body hurts and can't see straight. My gut really hurts. My brain hurts. I feel like I got dementia and like the Scarecrow, bad mushroom, you know, fucking brain shit's going on. And coughing a lot. Obviously my pulse ox, my oxygen's dropping in the 80s some days. You know, blood pressure would jump up to like 170, 180 over, you know, 120, 110, like just from standing sometimes. My pulse would jump to like 160 just from standing. So I'm pissing out my bedroom window because I don't want to walk down a flight of stairs to my bathroom. So I was essentially bedridden for about like 2 months. And then, you know, crawling my way back, you know, walking 10 feet and 20 feet and 30 feet each day sequentially. And, you know, was doing everything to heal the acute part of it, you know, that initial part, because I was praying a lot, and it was really fucking dark and scary and terrifying for my mother. And then, you know, that progressed into Longhaul. It never really fully went away. I mean, the pneumonia went away, and I, you know, was not like bedridden anymore, and I was, you know, could walk and shit, but my brain wasn't right, and it was foggy, and my whole body was inflamed and in pain all the time. Couldn't even really see that good. You know, just taking 4 naps a day. And for a guy who used to work 100 hours a week, very enthusiastic about life, very productive and active. Like physically had troubles for what went on for about 3 or 4 years. I mean, and over the course of that 3 or 4 years, I went to, you know, 30 or 40 different doctors of different specialties across multiple states to find anyone who understood this thing. I did every holistic medium you could think of, and eventually found out what got it, and I think I cured it. I really do think I officially cured it, you know. And it might come back, like the way autoimmune illnesses can go in remission and then flare up again. So I gotta live a really tight, disciplined lifestyle to avoid that. But I'm on a good trajectory, and want to share that stuff. So first, let's do the medical portion. Obviously consult a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I talked to a ton of them. And the things that helped the initial COVID was I had a Russian doctor was dating at that time too. Maybe I gotta just date American or something. I don't know. I'm kidding, but gave me fluconazole, an antifungal, and I thought that was so strange. I'd never thought of antifungal. You hear about antivirals, antibiotics, but I was living in a home that had mold from water damage, and you could see the actual black mold. There's a lot of mold in nature too, like just in the dirt and the soil and in plants as they decay. And even those lanternflies in Philly, like poop mold. And a lot of people have allergies they don't understand. And a lot of people in India with not as clean of healthcare system would not die from the COVID. They die from the black mold that got in after the COVID. After the COVID comes and fucks your lungs up, then bacteria or fungal could come in. So she just did like a complete wipeout, probably helped save my life. So I was on fluconazole, antifungal, same kind of thing you would get for a yeast infection. And fungal's all over your skin and stuff, so it's not ridiculous that it could get it, and it's in your gut biome and things. And that's gonna be a very important part of later healing. And she put me on an off-label antiviral. At the time they didn't have any of these COVID antivirals they have now. Use those now, obviously, but she just took some antiviral for something else and added that, and then antibiotics to just kind of go at it. Buy a pulse ox with that tests your oxygen level and your pulse. That can also help your hypochondria and fear, because if it's good, you for the most part probably okay, but if your oxygen dips into the 80s, you should go to the hospital. And blood pressure cuff to make sure your blood pressure is not too high. If it is, you got to rest. And a lot of prayer, meditation, a lot of water, a lot of electrolytes, but really got to reduce the sugar, because the sugar is what the fungus and bacteria and bad gut biome stuff can feed off of. Prednisone, really good if you have pneumonia and bronchitis. For the seizures, I was on gabapentin to kind of affect those, and really just anything you fucking can to get out of the danger zone, especially if you're older, immune compromised and stuff. Now, after that's over, and now you're on this long tail of curing long haul COVID, which a lot of Americans are dealing with. I honestly believe if we don't get our heads wrapped around it and people don't take it serious, 10 to 30% of the American population can end up disabled, because it's debilitating. Maybe by design, that's for another podcast. But and so I went to the doctors you need are a great primary as the quarterback, a rheumatologist, which is for autoimmune conditions, pulmonologist for your lungs, neurologist for your brain, gastroenterologist for your gut can help a lot too. A mold or chronic illness doctor, like Dr. Jim Lysander at Mastery Medical out of California. Somebody like that is really who's really perfect for something like this. Depending on how bad it is, if you end up getting MS or some of the harder autoimmune conditions some people have gotten after this, you need a neuroinfectious disease doc or a rheumatologist, autoimmune neurologist type, if it's really that serious, and then the rheumatologist for me kept trying increasingly strong autoimmune meds to calm my immune system, because it's staying flared up, and I'm getting spinal taps that show my CF fluid, CF protein is elevated, which is a sign of autoimmune. I was even getting these bouts of brain encephalitis where my brain would so flare up I couldn't get out of bed for weeks, couldn't even stand, wobbling like I'm couldn't even think straight, like debilitating brain encephalitis that put me in the hospital for 2 or 3 day stints. So they needed to calm that inflammation down. And so at first it was prednisone while it was acute. Then it was sulfasalazine as a try to calm it. That didn't do it. Increased the sulfasalazine. That didn't do it. So then they went up to methotrexate. That did kind of calm it down as far as the inflammation. But what I realized later is it was actually maybe making the underlying issue worse because it was calming the immune system, which if you have some sort of chronic infection or chronic illness, like mold or fungus or bacteria anywhere, you're actually calming the immune system's trying to kill that, and that's why it's inflamed. And so it's confused for autoimmune, so you're taking immune suppressants, which is allowing that fungus or bacteria to grow worse or further into your various systems. And that's nobody's fault. These are very complicated things to diagnose. Most people with autoimmune or chronic infectious issues, it takes 2 or 3 years of working. So stay faithful, advocate for yourself, get every test you need, be kind to every doctor, but do not take no for an answer. If one is disrespecting you, get what you need immediately to stay alive, but then switch doctors. Do not take no for an answer. If your gut's saying, I need this antifungal, do it. And even if they think you're crazy, say, you got to give me the benefit of the doubt. It's my body. Give me a week course, and then get a new doctor who understands the issue. Really advocate for yourself. And you got to keep your cool, because this is life and death health issues. Really advocate for yourself. And listen to the docs, what feels right, but coordinate all that information, and then come up with your playbook, And so then methotrexate wasn't fully doing it, turns out, because there was a chronic infection that was getting worse, and then was on Humira. And I inject Humira, and then I end up in the hospital with brain encephalitis again. And after that time, I'm like, dude, fuck this. This is nuts. I'm going to fucking die if I don't get this figured out. And my gut keeps telling me it's fungal, as insane as that sounds. I did not think I'd be like, it's a fungal illness. How often do you think that thought? But my gut was telling me that. So, and follow your gut, because when I first had COVID, I got 3 downloads. One was his Jeebus movie script, which sounds insane. 2 was that there was a fungal illness, and 3 I'll reveal at a later date. And the Jeebus movie played out in real life, and that's an insane thing to play out in real life, and so did the fungal. So follow your gut. God Tao gives you intuitive downloads. And so I quit all my autoimmune meds, cold turkey, and strong-armed a urologist, a new urologist I'd never had before, for 7 days of fluconazole, saying, you'd give it to a woman for a yeast infection, it's not that ridiculous. He goes, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but I'm never doing this again. I was like, cool. And I just shook in bed for a week, just like miraculously healing. My sinuses cleared, my eyesight got better, my spine straightened out, pains in my foot and hands just like instantaneously relieved. My lungs was better. I was coughing like these dry coughs, like I was like getting rid of something. Oh my God, it was incredible. And from there, it's been up, and I did a lot more from there. That was 8 months ago, and I still took a lot more work to get to this. But that kind of calmed the immediate part of the issue. So when you're on autoimmune meds, you really got to watch for the fungal thing. They even say on the warnings of them, watch out for fungal growth, because your immune system's suppressed. And most immune systems can take care of fungus pretty quick, but not if you're immune suppressed. So it's and sometimes it's both. I mean, I probably have an autoimmune illness plus got this fungal thing because I was in a home with mold. Sometimes it's both, and it's a weird balancing act. It's really tricky shit. So be patient and go to every doctor and try everything you can, because it's really tricky, and it's a balance. It's not like one or the other, and everybody's different, so you can't take any of this too literal. Just trying to give some info to try, right? And some other things that helped in that first early kind of phase was, because my lungs were chewed up from the COVID, they can put you on steroidal inhalers, which helps build them back as you're rehabbing. Brio inhaler, or Trelegy is a stronger one. Or if you end up having this fungal thing, you don't want a steroidal powder, because that kind of coats the lungs and it can lead to fungal infections, or thrush in your throat. You can do Brena, which is like a liquid non-steroidal support for your lungs. These are all things you would have if you had COPD or emphysema or asthma or rehabbing from COVID. And Brina ended up being what worked for me because of the fungal component. It's liquid, non-steroidal, and it helps support it. For me on for asthma, my asthma got massively worse, so I got Xolair injections, where I never even used my regular albuterol inhaler before this. My asthma was that mild. And then afterward, it's so flared up I can barely stand, my lungs hurt all the time. The Xolair is like a biologic that my IgGs are high, which is my allergic asthma, and they got massive after COVID, another kind of allergic autoimmune thing. And so the Xolair calms my IgGs lesser, so I'm less allergic to things like mold, dust, pollen, things I'm allergic to. So it was like a miracle drug for a while. Now, as I'm getting healthy, I'm realizing it has a little bit of side effects, but nothing crazy. Just a little bit of this kind of like phlegmy thing, but for the most part, it's a godsend. And maybe one day I'll get off it too, like some of the other meds I did. But so that's the cover of the medical component. Go see doctors: primary, rheumatology, mold, chronic infection doctors, neurologists, gastroenterologist, even ortho for your spine kind of stuff. Psychologists, very important for this. Get a therapist to talk through, and we'll talk about the emotional component later. Psychiatrist too. I mean, I'll be transparent. I took a minor dose of Zoloft, an antidepressant, anti-anxiety from this, and a little bit of Adderall, a minor Adderall, like 2.5 milligrams, like half of a 5, just because the brain fog is so like hard to think and get your things in order. For me, it would help me project manage my emotions and then proceed instead of being in this what's going on, right? So a lot of what the COVID unlocks is a lot of mental health issues. So if that's what you need, I go through periods of not being on anything and hope to get back to it again. But if you need help, don't suffer in silence. Like, life's, you got to decide the cross benefit of being on meds versus just having a non-suffering life. So, and while you're healing, do whatever you can. And also, if you can do it without it, God bless you, So just being transparent about that. So for others out there, it's not a weird fucking thing. And be careful about mentioning that stuff to other medical doctors while you're advocating for yourself. I noticed multiple times, if I told a doctor or a person in the ER that I was on Zoloft, I literally heard a couple times a nurse or a doctor tell the other doctor in the hallway, he's on Zoloft. And they would just be like, it's just mental health. And it turned out it was fungal brain encephalitis and autoimmune encephalitis, meaning my brain is neurologically and medically inflamed. And yeah, if you ain't a little depressed or anxious during that, yeah, bullshit. So they really do kind of judge and have a stigma. So keep that to, over on the mental health side, and, advocate on the medical side. Just a little kind of real insider deep cut. But now, that's medical. Not the funnest shit, but you gotta live. So, Eastern is best for preventative and holistic health and remaining healthy and full recovery, I believe. And Western medicine is really great at putting the fire out. So I'm an all-in kind of $6 million man guy. Other people are super holistic. Other people are super medical. I think it's a balance. You don't want to be so medical that you're getting yourself sick all the time, and you always view yourself like a patient. A big part of it is look at yourself like a healing being. I am healthy, happy, and whole. As opposed to I'm a patient. So, and that's the downside of being too medical focused. And you don't want to be so holistic. You're like Andy Kaufman, the great comedian who tried to meditate out of lung cancer instead of get, radiology. So you got to heal too. You can't heal if you're dead. So that's the medical component, not the funnest part. The next part we're going to talk about is the rehab component. And then we're going to talk about the holistic component, and then we're going to talk about the emotional component. So the rehab component is things you can do to just build your body and brain back and lungs back after you've been severely ill, injured, or long haul. First, you got to get the illness under control, or you're running uphill. If your brain's still inflamed, it's really hard to do the rehab. So you got to do all at once. But I highly suggest going to a Longhaul clinic. There's these new Longhaul COVID rehab clinics popping up, and there needs to be more of them. An amazing one in Pennsylvania is Bryn Mawr Rehab. They also have one in King of Prussia called Mainline Health, and they have a Longhaul COVID rehab program. It's very similar to concussion or brain injury rehab, which is ironic considering I felt 12 feet on my head, 8 years ago now. So I believe that was all part of a weird mission to learn that shit. That don't want to do it again. So they do things like vestibular rehab, which is your balance. So like when you have long haul, you can't stand that well, and you get POTS where your blood pressure jumps for no reason, and you're just kind of dizzy and your head hurts. Vestibular works your balance and that dizziness. So it does like head exercises where you go back and forth. For what they'll do is they'll put a little letter on the wall, and for 30 to 60 seconds at slow BPM on there's an app that can do like a metronome, and you might start at like 160, then you might go up to 120 BPM. Then when you're super healthy, you get up to 160, and you'll just go like this, looking at the letter, keeping your eyes gazed, for 30 seconds or until your symptoms go up 2 points. And then you'll stop, and then you go up like this too. And you don't ever want to go to a 5 out of 10 on the symptom rating. If you go up to a 10, you're going to end up in the ER. If you go up to 5, you're going to need a nap. So you want to keep it you only want to work the rehab 2 points above where you're at. So if you came into rehab or you're doing it at home and you're at a symptom level at 2 out of 10, go up to 4, take a break, right? If you're at 5 or 6 already, don't rehab that day, take a break, And they'll do head exercise. They'll do getting up out of bed. You'll just lay on the bed and then get up fast and then wait till the symptoms go away. Or you'll fall down fast and then you'll get up, and just get used to that kind of vestibular. And you'll stand on balance beams, and you'll do all sorts of neat tricks. There's a lot of YouTube videos too if you don't have insurance or you're in a tough situation. Just look up vestibular rehab, but best go to a center. And in California, they have USC has a great center, and UCLA does as well. And then they also can do PT, like rehabbing your exertion capability. So building your body's ability to exert, because you always think about strength or speed, but exert is carrying a little bit of weight long. Like, after COVID, you barely can carry the groceries long, and you're out of breath from a staircase, and that exertion rehab will help with that. And it's a mix of weightlifting and cardio to get yourself back. They can do OT rehab, which is just little life tricks on how to manage your life better while you still have symptoms and are recovering, which is a big deal to kind of scale the ship up right. Take the plane up slow. They can do speech rehab, which will help with if you're from the brain fog. If you have that you used to be sharp and now you're like or you have problems with word recall, like what's that what's his name, that it feels like you have dementia after long haul COVID. Speech therapy will help that, your memory, your word recall, your ability to formulate words. And believe me, it all comes back. If there's anything I'm trying to do in life, it's to show you it all comes back. You can recover from anything. So I felt 12 feet on my head. Then I got nasty COVID. I ended up getting COVID 4 times, actually. I talked about the real big one, but I got it 3 more times. I got every strain. I'm a COVID connoisseur. So you can rehab the OT or rehab the speech component. And there's also things you can do like lung rehab. There's places that have pulmonology lung rehab centers where you can work like a respiratory therapist, and they'll give you this little thing, starts with an S. Clearly I got some word recall issues. Spirometer. So you blow into it and you have your regular rating. And if it goes up to a certain point, your lungs are strong enough to go exercise. If it's not, you probably shouldn't that day because your asthma's high, your bronchitis, your COPD's high. So you can blow in this thing, and each day you can blow in it to increase your strength. And they can teach you other breath exercises to, build your lungs back, as well as, cardio weightlifting and all those kind of things. So that's the rehab component. And now we'll get to the holistic component. This is the favorite part. So the first two are work, man. Those are just straight work. So when you're in medical, it's like put your scientist cap on, your diplomat cap on, and just navigate the medical system and trial and error. Half the shit's trial and error. You don't know what's going to work. Everybody's different. Everybody's got different bodies. Oh, also, last medical component to add. Get every test you can. Do tons of blood tests. Brain MRI, lung CAT scan. If it's really, really bad, a spinal tap. Get deep cut autoimmune workups. Get deep cut chronic infectious disease workups. Get a sinus microbial analysis to test what bacteria or fungus might be in your sinuses. Swabs. I mean, do as many workups as you can, because they'll all unlock information for you and your doctors. And then in the rehab component, you got to do a little bit of soldier mentality. It's not pleasant, it's going to hurt, but if you want to get fully better, the only way through it is through it. Kind of like them buffaloes who, they go into the snowstorm. Like most animals, if there's a big storm coming, they go the other way. Buffaloes, when a snowstorm's coming, they walk towards it because they know the fastest way through it is through it. That's rehab. It sucks, but if you avoid it because you don't want your symptoms to go up, you're never going to get better, and you're never going to be able to tolerate more activity with less symptoms. So the more activity, the more rehab, the more symptoms means eventually less symptoms for more activity. And you got to be careful, and you got to do it safe, and you got to build, take the plane up slow. That's why you get the rehab specialists and you listen to the symptom rules. But, you got to have a soldier mentality. Part of healing is pain. Now, the holistic component, my favorite, all right? This part is where you be honest and true with yourself. You be vulnerable, and it's a treat. While you're doing these other things, holistic is a treat. Whenever you do any of the following modalities, it doesn't need to just be your healing. It's a beautiful, nurturing treat for yourself. It's like brain candy. It's like healthy brain sundae. It's like a brain dessert. It's a lung dessert. It's a body dessert. You're treating yourself well, right? And these things, honestly, did more to heal me than everything else I've talked about. This honestly did the most. It would be negligent to not mention the other stuff first because you don't know what you're dealing with, but holistic did the most. If I would credit everything, it's the following things. I'm going to start out with the trinity of brain health. Craniosacral massage, hyperbaric oxygen, lens neurofeedback. Okay, your brain is a couple things, right? It's biomass, fats and, biologic material that needs oxygen to live. That's the hyperbaric oxygen component. It's a soul with consciousness and this spinal sacral fluid, craniosacral fluid that flows through that and delivers that down the spine. And it's a lot of electricity. Most of the brain's electricity. That's why you see Elon Musk with Neuralink, and we invented computers, and we're going to start plugging into that. It's all another thing. I'm going to remain old school. But those three things help a ton. So craniosacral therapy is where you get a massage for an hour, and they massage your brain stem, your brain, your spine, your joints, and they touch your sacral, which is the bottom of your spine, and the top of your, or the bottom of your brain where the spine starts, in a certain way that balances your craniosacral rhythm and the way that fluid moves, and it optimizes your brain and spine and its connection to the central nervous system. And it's a treat. It's a real treat. All I say is when you go there, just have no expectations. Just be open to it. It might sound foofy and, oh yeah, Zen. Yeah. It's real. You'll see in one session how real it is. And it can help you even if you didn't have long haul COVID. It's great for life in general. I think it can prevent dementia, prevent Alzheimer's, improve your brain function, improve your epiphanies and creative ideas. While you're on the table, you'll get clear downloads from your soul of like how to fix your life or improve your life or re-navigate. It's really, really an incredible thing. And there's some incredible people out there, and you got to find the real ones. I mean, most of them are, because it's so esoteric that if they're doing it, they're probably a real one. But I know Shannon out of Pennsylvania and now Chicago, and Mary out of California are incredibly good. Mary at Core Body Therapy, and Shannon, not sure what her thing is, but I'll put it all in the links. And just Google craniosacral, find something. 2, hyperbaric oxygen. It's where you go in a chamber with 100% oxygen, and they put a mask on. Some of them put a mask that pumps the 100% oxygen and the pressure's in the chamber, and some there's no mask and it's the oxygen and the pressure in the chamber. Both work, both are very safe. It's a little scary in the tubes. There's some places that have big booths, like Oxynergy 2 in California, Los Angeles. And there's other places that have tubes, like I did in Pennsylvania at HBOT, Hyperbaric Oxygen Therapy, Pennsylvania. And in St. Pete, there's a place called Out of the Box that has a tent. It's like a tent that pumps 100% oxygen. All these did very well. All of them work. And that 100% oxygen for an hour, hour and a half seeps into your brain tissues, into your whole body and blood. And it, oh my God, it's like you breathed for the first time, because this air is 20% oxygen, mostly nitrogen, and these days pollution and God knows what. You go into the 100% oxygen. I mean, it's just, and this is good for long haul COVID. It's good for dementia, Alzheimer's, concussion, TBI, autism, brain development, people with injuries, tissue or flesh injuries, chronic infections. I mean, it's really a miracle thing for a lot of stuff. And third, lens neurofeedback. So all neurofeedback is good. It's like electrical training for the brain. Regular neurofeedback is more like rehab, and you're like stretching your brain glue and the electric capacity of your brain, and that's really tiring. I tend to find that lens neurofeedback, like what a guy, Dr. Kuhn out of New York, and John at Neurobalance in LA, really good stuff. And they put these sensors on your brain. It's not electrocuting you like shock therapy or nothing, but it's like this tonal thing where it just balances the electricity in your mind. Because when you have long haul COVID or TBI or concussion or anxiety or depression or complex mental health issues, you know, the electrical is all out of whack, and it helps calm it. And on the thing, all of a sudden I can breathe better, I can see better, I can think clearer. I feel like it's like electrical Adderall. It's like I'm tighter. The trees look vivid. It's like it snaps my mind right in here. And then if you do it a lot or a long session, it'll actually tire it, because it's like working it out. And then you got to nap, and the next day pick back up again. But it strengthens the brain glue. Really helps with that word recall, the memory, the cognitive issues of long haul COVID. A lot of it's cognitive issues, and that helps a lot. So those are the holy trinity of brain health. The next things that are really amazing holistically, and I'm going to list a ton: acupuncture. Acupuncture is Chinese medicine, beautiful. I can't believe how much it does every time. Every time, I can't believe how much it does. It doesn't seem like it would do much, and it does. It just opens up your chi and your pathways, and a good Chinese practitioner can really, really open up your shit in a way you could never imagine. Acupuncture can help really holistic, multi-dimensional issues, brain health, any infection, any illness, anything really. It can really help a lot. Side note. This maybe I need to edit this a little to put them all right. But the medical, another medical one, there's a couple over-the-counter medicines that helped way more than I thought they should. Famotidine for acid reflux, Benadryl, like for allergies, and hydroxine for anxiety. It's a very minor, not an SSRI. It's all three of those are basically antihistamines, which is really strange. All three of these are antihistamines. So there's something, at least in me, that the allergic component was flaming all this stuff up. So antihistamine in your gut biome is linked to your brain. It's a big connection thing. So you got to get, if you have acid reflux, that's part of this. Put that in the medical section. Anyway, okay, so acupuncture. Let's see what else I've tried. Lymph massage. Get a lymph massage, and you really don't got to do them often. Just go get one lymph massage, and they'll teach you how to do it. And basically, the lymph system's right near your skin, and it doesn't flow like your blood automatically. It can get backed up, especially if you have an autoimmune or chronic illness. So you gotta massage the skin sometimes to get that lymph moving, so it clears out all the waste. And so these are where your lymph nodes are. So for 10 seconds, like do the circles towards the direction of your heart. I go both ways. I don't know if that's right, but you go like this, like where this one is, then you go like this, just real light. You're not massaging it. You're not getting down to the muscles like that. You're just moving the skin and the lymph underneath it. And man, when I do this sometimes, my head lights up with relief. Like it was just holding on to some immune system waste for some reason, and that that's causing inflammation, and then this is just taking the trash out. And you do it on all the different lymph centers. And then here, right near that, and then there's one down here, and then in your groin, like right here. Wow, that's relieving. So lymph massage really helps with autoimmune, long haul COVID, and any infection. And while you're sick, do those too, because it'll help you improve. Lymph massage. Supplements, there's, check with your doctor and definitely with your meds so there's no crossover. But some things that were very helpful. Old school, high dose vitamin C, whether you're sick or autoimmune. I'll take 2,000, 3,000 milligrams 2 or 3 times a day, and it really, really helps. Echinacea, good for immune system boost. Vitamin D for long haul COVID. Your doctors will test your vitamin D. You're gonna need vitamin D because usually what it does is it saps your vitamin D. You have low vitamin D, which causes some of these issues. So you need to supplement the vitamin D. For the joint pain and arthritis like stuff, any of the joint supplements with the MGM and I can't spell it, CH, and a whole bunch of different things. Elderberry, while you're sick, zinc, APB1 is a supplement for antihistamine, autoimmune antihistamine. That one, go to a naturopath for these kind of ideas. That's the kind of, naturopathic doctor can help these things and find with your blood test what the specific thing is. I take a low dose of Naxolone, which is like what they use if people had an opioid problem, like heroin, but it really helps on autoimmune because your just nerves aren't overfiring, hurting you all day. I did that while it was acute. There's another thing called chromazine, which helps, when your cells are inflamed with more stuff, it helps that. Those are from compound pharmacies. Magnesium, really good for the brain. Really good for the brain. B12 and B complex, really good for the brain and energy. If you have other heart stuff, coenzyme Q10, things like this. One little hack I found for working out, and ask a doctor, this one's a little off label, but I would take, those NO2 supplements weightlifters take before they work out so that their veins pop. Jesus Christ, the last thing we need is anything surface these days. But anyway, those things have like arginine and other things for like vascularity. And my NO2 supplement for weightlifting at GNC would take 3. I would just take 1 to just improve my vascularity, which would get more blood to the brain and allow me to work out more than I otherwise could, which would stretch my rehab growth. And let me just not feel dizzy and have a full head. Let me think. Oh, while it's acute, maybe a baby aspirin to avoid clot issues, depending on your doctor and all that stuff. That's back in medical. This would be a lot tighter if I was 100%. I'm 90% from COVID, okay? Let me think here. Give me a minute. I want to get you everything in one podcast. Vitamin drips. You know, places like Ox Energy too. And there's a place in New Jersey. Incredible place in New Jersey too that has, I think it's in Marlborough, New Jersey. Look it up. But vitamin drips. And they can do a Myers cocktail and glutathione and NAD and very, you know, just the standards, magnesium, electrolytes, just to really fill the gaps where your body might be underserved. Liposomal glutathione. You can buy it on Amazon through a naturopath. Liposomal glutathione, you put it in your drink every morning. Glutathione is incredible for your brain health, incredible for brain and autoimmune health. NAD through the vitamin drip. It's almost like brain coffee, only it's not like a drug or caffeine. It's like, man, it just fucking, it wires you up for weeks. Really helps brain function. That being said, some people, caffeine's not great for autoimmune. It can make it really flared up. For me, a coffee every morning and every afternoon really helped me get my cognitive going and stimulated. Teas, throat coat tea. Breathe Easy tea. The fucking OGs. The OGs. Ginger, turmeric, lemon. I start every single morning with just nothing but lemon water. And liposomal glutathione. Lemon water. Drink a ton of lemon water. Clears your whole system out. Unbelievable. And ginger and turmeric, incredible for autoimmune. Just calms inflammation. Those are the OGs. Do that all day, every day, all the time. Another thing you can do, like shots multiple times a day if you want to fix your gut health, is Great Gaelic sea salt, one location pure Greek olive oil, turmeric, cayenne pepper, maybe even a little coconut oil, and just do a shot of that. Put a little water just so you can throw it back. Tastes terrible, but it'll really clear your gut nice. And that's one of the biggest parts of all this. I'll do a whole section on the gut in a sec. But whatever's bitter by taste is good for your gut. Whatever's sugary by taste is bad for your gut. You really got to avoid, let's do a nutritionist biome. This is the nutrition gut component. Probiotic, incredible. Probiotics. Anything to get the good bacteria in there, good. It gets out the bad bacteria. It gets out the bad fungus. Let's see. There's also a Candida Cleanse supplement, which is really good for cleaning Candida from your gut. There is Stachybocoris probiotic, which is like a fungal probiotic. It's like good fungus that helps beat the bad fungus. It's all about mastering that gut biome. And the nutrition component for me, speak for everybody else, but I really had to avoid gluten, sugars, simple carbs. I mean, breads and sugars and candies and anything sugary is what feeds that fungal, and it's terrible for autoimmune. Terrible. I mean, it causes so much inflammation. The biggest thing that I needed to, really work on is that, because I mean, you can tell the difference. You eat sugar, you feel like shit. I mean, it really is not good for beating this thing, because you're feeding the beast. So you want to starve the fungus or chronic infection of any nutrients. So anti-sugar, anti-gluten, low carb diet. There's a thing called FODMAPs. Look up FODMAPs. I highly suggest, this is a lot of information in a kind of Coley-esque way, so I highly get the transcript of this, highlight each of the things that resonate, and then just Google them and go do them, because this is really good shit. You follow this, you will beat this thing. I'm telling you, I just did it. FODMAPs diet. Let's see here. You got to get good nutrients. You got to eat good. If a lot of veggies, veggies and good proteins are always good. For me, I needed to have the right amount of meat. Chicken's a really good one. Chicken and fish. Fish is especially good for the brain. Vegan's always good if you can get enough protein, but for me, I like to balance it. I like to intermittent fast. Intermittent fasting is nice, not eating close to bed for both the acid reflux. And then you wake up and I would not eat until maybe midday sometimes after I worked out, and then that. And that helps clear really helps clear autoimmune inflammation, the gut biome stuff. You got to be careful if you need some eat, but intermittent fasting is really great. Doing a 1 or 2, 3 day fast. I don't like these 7, 14-day fasters, get dangerous, especially if you're dealing with a chronic issue, but a day or two of fasting to clear the system's nice and for your brain and spiritual growth. Let me see what else here. Supplements, food. Sleep. Sleep is very, very, very important. Take as many naps as you need till you don't need them. You got to keep active too, but like naps are huge. Sleep 8 hours good at night. Treat yourself to, a nice bed, nice pad, whatever sounds might help you sleep. You really got to sleep good because that feeds the brain and body. Cardio is really good for the brain. Lifting is really good for your joints. Stretching is really good for the autoimmune inflammation that causes arthritis and your spine and neck to hurt. Doing all sorts of corrective exercises for bad posture issues caused by being bedridden for a while and stuff like that. You really got to work the body healthily in all ways. Cardio, light lifting, and stretching. And I think I might move to the emotional component and then wrap it up. Let me see. Let's give me a minute if I can just think of any other game here. Enjoy the birds for a sec. Lots of water. Gotta be hydrated. Old school shit. Fundamentals, baby. Fundamentals. Oh, back to the medical. CPAP. Some people might need a CPAP. I had mine caused sleep apnea. All the inflammation and lung issues and stuff I was getting. My oxygen was dropping in my sleep, and I was stopping breathing a couple times. A lot of people have this anyway without COVID. So get a sleep study. Get a sleep study. See if that's part of it, because if that's part of it, that's a big thing to unlock. Get a CPAP machine. Go into, oxygen predator at night, but you'll feel a lot better. Eye health. Eye health is very important. Lots of eye drops, preservative-free, cystine, comprehensive. A lot of the eye issues and stuff from the cognitive and the brain. Just taking great care of your eyes. Go see an eye doctor if you need corrective glasses or yellow frames to make the light and visual disturbance not hurt your brain so much. Lots of eye drops to keep them lubricated. Very important. For nose, if the sinuses is causing a lot of brain pressure, doing the saline rinses. You gotta be really careful to use distilled water, because if you use tap water, it can make it even worse, putting some stuff up there. And for me, I use a little bit of Flonase too to just clear the sinuses. Brush your teeth. Take great care of your teeth. Your teeth are one of the biggest things when it comes to your gut and brain health, believe it or not, because it builds up bacteria and fungus, and it can go into other places. Take great care of your teeth. Go to the dentist. It also looks great, right? All right, if I think any more, I'll add an amendment. But now to the emotional component. Very important. You've gone through a lot. You've gone through a ton. And you can't just act like it didn't happen, and you also don't want to stay a patient your whole life. So you got to work on integration. Get a great therapist that you resonate with, a psychiatrist if needed. and be really kind and graceful and compassionate to yourself and your family and friends. If you went through something like this, you probably learned a lot about who loves you and who doesn't. Cut whoever doesn't. Don't ever look the fuck back, and also don't hate them. Forgive them, and God bless you. And my favorite thing to say is I still wish you all the blessings and all the happiness in the world. Way the fuck over there. You know? And with the people who did stick with you and they love you a lot, you know they are real ones. So you spill the same blood for them. They just went through something incredibly hard like you did, and just, you know, apologize for how you might have acted weird when your brain was inflamed. Apologize for how much pain it caused. Apologize to yourself for having been in this position, even though it wasn't your fault. But apologize and forgive, and then give yourself grace, vulnerability, and acceptance. You went through something god awful. They went through something god awful. You both said things you didn't mean. You know, they might not have been there for you because they didn't understand how bad it was. Part of it might have been you projecting it because you're so fucked up, you just don't even know how you're thinking. Part of it might have been they were in their own mess and issues. So just forgive everybody who deserves it. Forgive yourself. Forgive everybody. But really do the work to repair and improve your family, close friend, and loved one, ally relationships. And the neutrals, they're neutrals, and the enemies, swerve them. Get out of conflict, get out of the fight. You're now healing. Life is going to be a blessing. You now know what it's like to almost die, to be in severe pain and be tortured. God knows Chinese water torture will drive somebody nuts or kill them. That's just a drop of water, and you just went through all this pain. So, you know, be proud of yourself. Be grateful. Thank God, Tao, Allah, Yahweh, the wind, the way, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, Mother Gaia, the aliens, whatever does it. And you got a lot more life to live. So take it all and put it into some purpose. I'm sure through this you realize what really matters and what doesn't. You know, so material things, financial success, you got to support yourself, you got to eat, but, you know, none of that shit matters. Loved ones, your purpose, giving back to society what you learned, helping others deal with similar things or other things, that thing you always wanted to do and now you know that you got limited time, go do it. Creative shit, entrepreneurial shit, be better at your job, whatever it is that resonates. If you're really, really bad and it's permanent, like you got MS or a severe autoimmune, or you got some brain or lung damage from this, go get on disability, man. Don't be embarrassed or ashamed. You deserve it. That's why it's there. You know, the New Deal and our social safety net is there to take care of people, and you're not doing anybody a service. You know, being a financial burden to your friends or family, you know, Uncle Sam's there for that. If they can give corporate socialism, they sure as hell can take care of you. So that's a long, complicated process. Get a lawyer, first step, and look into disability, American with Disabilities Act, partial or full. But otherwise, if you're back and you're doing amazing, you know, use your time wisely, knowing what you know, and you don't ever want to go back, so keep compounding those gains. And, you know, meditation, you know, meditating, you know, morning and night, whenever needed. A little extra thought before you respond to that email or text. Trying to avoid conflict as much as you can. Reminding yourself of gratitude. Gratitude is the greatest drink you can give your brain. Just gratefulness. You know, there's going to be a party that's like, people were so mean and it was so hurtful and why did this happen? That's real. That's real. But you need to slowly drown that fucker in the tub, you know, and just feed the fucker. It's like, damn, thanks, man. I'm glad I'm back. You got to feed that one. Really nurture your friends and family, you know, the healthy ones. You know, by now you will cut anybody who showed to not be a real one. But anyone who is a real one, you know, even if it got complicated or the relationship needs some repair, this is real shit with a chronic illness. I think like 50% of people get divorced within 1 year of a head injury. I think it's probably similar with some chronic illness stuff. I mean, shit, 50% of Americans get divorced anyway now. So we got to do a better job of sticking together. Pick right first, but that's a whole nother podcast. But feed the relationships, heal. You'll come out with a deeper thing. Really nurture your friends and family. Mutual nurturing, and ask what's going on with them too, and any way you can help them. Breath is probably the most important holistic and emotional health thing. Breathing, just meditative breath, doing breath work. Google Philadelphia Rebirthing Center. They have free breath work every Sunday at 12 EST. Sign up for an hour and just do a breath with Philadelphia Rebirthing Center. Tony and Maureen, the incredible human beings. And there's breathwork teachers all over the country. Ari at Center City Breathe in Philadelphia. Incredible human beings. So just learn the breath, because every time I avoid breathing and doing, I'm not talking about you regularly breathe, like doing an hour of breath work, I always avoid it like it's a chore, and then after I do it, so many things heal, and I'm like, why the fuck do I not do that more often? It's a goddamn treat. I always look at it like it's a chore, and then it ends up being a treat. Breath work, all the things I just mentioned, throw them all out, breathe. That will cure you of all things better than anything. The breath is the OG of all OGs of healing, and emotionally, you just got to get out of the way. Even though you got to do all these things, get out of the mentality of fixing. If you're always fixing, you're always broken. So you gotta, I love repeating mantras that helps the PTSD of going through something like all this. I am happy, healthy, and whole. I am happy, healthy, and whole. I am happy, healthy, and whole. And you'll reprogram the brain, because it's very much like a computer. If there's any negative thoughts you tell yourself often, and you find it out consciously or subconsciously, or there's a PTSD function that's blocking you from living your life. I was afraid to drive. I was afraid to do a lot of things. Go, I erase my hypervigilant self. 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 Or I erase my fearful self. Or I erase my broken self. Or I erase my angry self. Or I erase my sad self. Whatever the adjective is that's holding you back and you can feel it, repeat it to yourself like a mantra, and at first you'll feel your breath increase, because you're like letting go of that hold up. And eventually, after saying it 10, 20, 30, 40 times, it won't mean anything. You'll just be saying words, and that's when you can stop, because you have erased it or let go of that weight. And then clean it out with the I am happy, healthy, and whole. I am happy, healthy, and whole. And man, the first time you're doing something scary, taking that first 10-foot walk after being bedridden, the first time you're doing that mile walk, the first time you're going to rehab, the first time you're driving, repeat it as you go. And it's not about rushing into fire, but it's also not about just avoiding pain and symptoms. You got to go through the fire. So while you're going to it, I erase my fearful self. I erase my fearful self. And you'll get through it, and then so much weight will be lost, and so much more energy and emotion will open up. Believe me, over time, it'll compound, and you'll start to get momentum. You got to crawl, walk, run, fly. And nurturing yourself, just taking time each day to relax. You're healing from something. You don't got to just be on the productivity meter all the time. Take time off if you need. Do half days. Do whatever you got to do. Adjust your lifestyle. Healing comes first. The rest will come. Give your time to be lazy and just be dumb, because your brain needs to heal. And sometimes all that thinking isn't helpful. Sometimes you got to work it to get it back, but also sometimes you got to just be dumb. And some days you got to have a cheat day from all this shit. And I found that I had to quit smoking weed, and if you quit cigarettes, you certainly got to quit that, because smoke flames up autoimmune and is terrible for the vascular system of the brain. Put this back in medical too. No smoking, no whatever. What they have found is long-haul COVID is the capillaries in the brain get tight or shrunk. So that's why you see people having strokes and aneurysms and things. And the inflammation from the autoimmune can be all the way up to like vasculitis or similar lesser versions. So smoking is really, really bad. But man, you're healing, you gotta smoke weed and check out for a day, or you gotta do whatever suits your thing. Until you're healthy, the ref is your sanity. So try to go all light, try to go all perfect, but If you need a little darkness and you need to eat that cake or you need whatever, don't beat yourself up. You're going to need a little of that too. Another both mental health and emotion thing. I had found that medical prescribed ketamine was extremely helpful for complex PTSD and complex depression. That's really sticky and hard to get out, especially when it was neurologic from actual, medical issues. Do it under the supervision of a doctor, so you're not getting street fentanyl shit. Places, they'll prescribe it. I pay a $5 copay. There's in Los Angeles, there's what do you call it? LA Psychiatric. There's a treatment center. There's places in a lot of states that have them now, and you'll go there for 2 hours. You'll do medical ketamine. They can do it esketamine through a nasal spray, just a couple spritz like Flonase. Some places do an IV, and you'll go on a journey similar to like microdosing mushrooms. And the doctors are there to keep you safe in therapy, and it can really help some really complex shit. That's some really deep cut stuff. Most of you won't need something like that, but if it was severe, you might. Also on that note, I am 99.9% sober, have been for a long time, other than when I'm making something rock and roll and ceremonial things. So now that I'm healthy and in full health and can take it, I've done microdosing of mushrooms to increase the neural pathways and to let go of past stuff and recommune with Yahweh, Gaia. I'm too old to be doing full mushroom trips anymore. Freak me the fuck out. But microdosing has been real nice. Go to the beach, get outside, do nature. Forest healing like they have in Japan. Just get outside around trees. Around good air. If you're in a city or town that doesn't have good air, you got to get out. I had to move out of the center of LA because the pollution was so bad for my lungs and brain. Getting good breath, good air, going on walks with friends, getting a coffee with a friend, snuggling. We got to do more snuggling, not just fucking on Tinder and not just are we going to get married. Snuggle. Everybody should snuggle. Like the free love in the 60s? Let's go free snuggle. Like, look, if you end up poking around and having a good time or whatever your particular leaning is, God bless you. That's beautiful too. Sexual healing. Marvin Gaye, we need it, okay? But snuggling is plenty and enough. It's incredible. Just hold each other more. We were all quarantined for so long that we all have like social anxiety and we got worse at it. And I've noticed a definite change in the dating system and pool and friends. People are worse at the shit. So we got to get better. We got to get some practice. You don't got to go around being a whore or just marry the first person you see. Although we all want to do both of those things sometimes. Be real. Snuggling, man. Snuggling's the great middle way. Just fucking snuggle. Hold each other. Give more hugs. Give more hugs to your friends and family, to loved ones, to romantic interests, whatever. Hold hands. Give each other massages. Be nice to each other. Be the Tao and be the light and be the happy, courageous warrior, and also be the vulnerable, real one. Sometimes you got to take different roles. None of us are pimps and none of us are patients, okay? One day you're going to be the strong one like me right now, and you're going to be giving the support. And then another day you're going to be like, I'm going to be the one needing support. And I'm going to go, yo, man, can you go on a walk with me, man? I'm fucking freaked out. Whatever it is, don't get into the roles and let go of the roles. Take turns being the roles in your relationships, in your partnerships, in your friend circles, in your healing circles. Sometimes you got to be the strong one. Sometimes you got to be the vulnerable one. Tell people you love them. You don't know if they're going to be here or not. My pops died during COVID. I fell to the ground when I learned. God bless you, pops. It was funny till the day he died. Was the fucking man. Tell people you love him. Me and him luckily got to have some amazing chats the week before he passed and let go of everything from our past. It was like God's grace. I don't know what happened. He was not cognizant or vivid because of some CTE and severe issues for a long time, but he had like a week of vividness. It sounded like himself, super clear, and we just said everything we needed to say, and then he passed. It was really a blessing from God. Because the odds of that happening, I would not, how do you just all of a sudden, like instantaneously resolve 15 years of severe issues in a week, and then like it does a miracle. Tell people you love them. Say you're sorry. Tell people what you need to say. Truth will set you free. And generally, both individually and as a society, we got to give each other grace. We're fucking cutting each other up. I mean, we're just taking the pain of that error and putting it on each other. You're the devil, I'm the righteous one. You're the devil, I'm the righteous one. Fight, 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 fight. Politics, or you're a scumbag, or this. Everybody wants to put on everything. Like, yo, we all need grace. Every one of us deserves forgiveness. Every one of us deserves love. Every single one of us deserves understanding. Every single human. I don't care what it was. You know, I mean, we got a prison system and a legal system for the real bad shit. Let that play out, due process, and if they deserve it, that's justice. But, you know, for the rest of us in the normal bell curve, we all suck a little bit. We all suck a little bit. And we all have a beautiful soul inside. So let's just accept that we all suck a little bit and that we all have a beautiful soul inside, and we're all a work in progress. Love you all. Let's keep the progress going. I'm just glad I can walk normal, to be honest. Was that a sweet exit? Don't tell anybody that I did that as an exit and then we cut it. I'm talking to the people who are watching the fact that I did that exit and then said not to cut it. I'm too transparent for my own good. Shit. It's a beautiful way to live.
I don't know shit. Right now 76, thinking. I don't know shit.